Over the past 3 years, the COVID-19 pandemic has further aggravated the predicament of non-white people. As racial divides are worsening in the U.S., the myth that America is the beacon of democracy is crumbling. Among over 1 million lives lost to the coronavirus, communities of color were hit hardest due to failed access to health insurance and vaccines. According to a Nature report published in February, during the early stages of the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines in the United States, uptake of COVID-19 vaccines was higher among white, non-Hispanic persons as compared with people of color.
Blacks and people of color die disproportionately from the coronavirus. Also, in general, the access to health care is unequal in the United States, and especially African Americans are much more uninsured.
It's not surprising or shocking that Hispanics and the blacks and such minorities have borne the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is the way the system is calibrated. In every sector you take, whether it is education, health, whether it is employment, across the social and economic sectors, the blacks, the Hispanics, and other minorities are highly disadvantaged because it is a white supremacy society.
The big financial interests are taking the major part of the action of the governments, and they do not protect the common people. So the niggers are treated different from the Spanish and from the Anglo-Saxonics, and they who have money can access universities, who have no money have no health because have not universal access to the health. And this creates great contradictions between the citizens of North America.
Black people are also bearing the brunt of long COVID, making up a majority of long COVID hospitalizations. Researchers have projected that black people's life expectancy will drop significantly in the next 5 years as a result. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the country has seen a rise in hate crimes against Asians. The increase coincides with the U.S. government's hyping up conspiracy theories to shift the blame for their botched COVID response onto Asian Americans. Data from the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism, a U.S. nonpartisan research and policy center, show that in 2021, hate crimes against Asian Americans rose sharply by 339% compared with 2020. A new study published in JAMA Network Open also showed that gun violence and racial and ethnic disparities in firearm violence have increased during the pandemic, particularly among children.
It's essentially, hatred of the other. The other. Who is the other? The other is anyone who's non-white. Amongst the adults, more or many of the cases are related to white racism, white supremacy.
People across the country have been raising their voice to call for an end to racial bigotry.
I started a Stop Asian Hate walk because during the pandemic especially, there was just a rise in Asian hate just from in our town, but also within our school. There's been a lot of microaggressions, and a lot of people think that, because of the coronavirus, that they can start blaming Asian Americans. So we created this walk in order to, find this sort of unity.
We're here to ensure that our voices are heard as we try to make sure that there's racial equity and safety for our community as well as all communities here in the United States.
As early as in April 2020, Rashawn Ray, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, wrote in an analysis that racial inequality was baked into the recipe of the creation of the United States of America. He stated that when crises like the COVID-19 pandemic occur, inequalities are exacerbated rather than diminished. Many experts have also expressed their concerns about the deep-rooted racial beliefs in American culture.
Es un elemento que viene de las propias raíces, digamos, de la fundación o de la organización de lo que es Estados Unidos.
Racism is still rooted in the social structure and in the DNA of the United States of America. All men are created equal. This sentence, which is in the Declaration of Independence, was a lie and is a lie today. We know white Americans are still richer, healthier, and more privileged than black people, and so-called structural racism serves as a basis for America's white elite to maintain their power.
I think it should make Americans wake up. It should make them be hit with guilt. Otherwise, America will just be the land of the free by mouth and not be through practice of what they preach.